What am I doing here? Hey, there we are. How's everybody doing? Looks like I'm here alone tonight, right now anyway. Spencer's probably going to drop in, and maybe Charlie. I don't know. Charlie is someplace between Chicago and California. He's on the Zephyr train. And hey, Crypto Chris, how you doing? Um, I figured I wasn't going to come on tonight, but I figured I might as well. I don't have a lot going on. Lex in there watching. She's watching her soccer game, so I figured I'd come on and answer any questions anybody's got. Say hello to everybody, and I haven't put a video. Well, I put up a video locally here. It was not too long ago, a few days ago. I'm going to try to do another one tomorrow. I'm feeling real good. I went to the doctor today. The prognosis is very, very good. I'm extremely pleased. I'm going to be with you for a while. The uh, the type of cancer I have is it's very aggressive, but I caught it. Hey Harry, how you doing? I caught it real early. I was very fortunate that it hasn't spread anywhere. That was my main concern. I was afraid it would spread to my liver, my lungs, or my prostate, or something like that. But the all the tests came back today, and it's just in the bladder. And the recommendation from the urologist today is just to go ahead with the chemotherapy and do that route. Now the other thing, hey, from Portugal, hello there, Eleanor. The other thing that happened was we did a CT scan, and as we were going through the reports today with the doctor, it showed one the lab reports from the uh, sample sample that they took showed that it wasn't muscle invasive, which is very, very good. It hadn't got to the muscle; it just got to the first part, and it hadn't passed to any of the lymph nodes or any of the other organs or anything like that. It's just confined right there to the bladder. But the CT scan, there was a section in the CT scan that said that they one particular lymph node they couldn't make a determination. So the doctor says that the only way that they can really, the pathology says that the lymph node's okay, but the CT scan says that there may be a problem. Um, so we are getting a PET scan done as soon as possible. And hey, Richard, how you doing? You come in May 29th of this month. Okay. Um, so that that's where we're at, and like I said before, the thing about it is, um, I'm not scared of taking chemo. I'm not scared of taking the medicines. I'm not scared of the pain or anything like that. But whatever I do, I want to make sure that I do it in a long term. In other words, the best for me long term. So, if they have to go in and take my bladder out, I don't care. I mean, I'm 67 years old. Uh, I'd much rather live like that than live fighting cancer all the time. So that's kind of what we're waiting on. The doctor, he was very pleased with the results that we got back, and um, other than that one particular lymph node that they're questioning, everything looks real good to just start chemo. And I have a very good friend of mine who is um, takes care of all my stuff in the United States, and her daughter-in-law is one of the top uh, oncologists in the state of Tennessee. So I have sent all my stuff to her, and she's going to look at it and make a recommendation. And whatever she recommends, that's what we're going to go with, and see what happens. Now, I have been very fortunate. The insurance is doing very well. Now, anything outpatient, like today, I had to pay for it. Any type of chemo, any type of outpatient therapy, or anything like that is all going to come out of my pocket. But Other than that, WR Life is really, really taking good care of me. Uh, Nothing like my other insurance company that I had to fight with. These people were really good. I'm really happy. So that's where it is. But hey, from Hot Guy, okay, we may have another friend jumping in from down there. If Roy decides to come on, I don't know if he will or not. I sent him the link, and he's from down your way too. Um, but that's where it's at, and I'm just I'm trying to keep keep my spirits high. That's the hardest thing to deal with. Hang in there, Bill. He's coming. Okay, all right. I'll wait on him. We'll wait on him. That's Spencer's wife. He's probably getting his coat ready. But anyway, I'm just keeping a good head about me. For the first few days, when you hit with something like that, it's like bam, because I try to take care of myself. I go to the doctor, I go to the hospital, I get all my blood work done. If I have a lump or something like that, I check it. If I got a cough, I check it. I try to take care of myself. And like I said before, I had been to I had my urine checked the week before, and there was no blood in it, absolutely none, no indications of any type of cancer. I had my cancer screens done, I think 6 months before that, and there's just no indication, and I, I'm thankful because had this happened at night, a lot of times, you wake up in the middle of the night, you you turn the light on, and you go and you flush the toilet and you go back to bed. You don't ever look down, and had that hit me at night, I may not have even noticed it, but it was during the day that I looked, and if that ever happens to you, you'll know exactly how I feel. It's just a shock that you would you never I never want to. I don't wish it on anybody. It just and it for me it happened like, gosh, it was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, um, on a Friday, and the first thing I'm thinking is trying to find a urologist at 5 o'clock at night that's still open, and I just we ended it like I said. I think I told you in the last one. We ended up driving all the way out to Lamphun, which is about 20 kilometers from here, and it was closed. He was closed, so we just came back home and then went to the hospital, the next morning, and which was a smart move, smart thing for me to do because he knew when he looked at. I had brought my urinalysis report with me. And when he looked at that, and then they did a urinalysis too, and he said, here comes Spencer. Let me get him in here. Hey, buddy, there
Hey,
he is. Looking good, man. Ain't
yeah,
seen you
thank
in a
you.
while.
Yeah,
You got a Texas tan there.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but the doctor he said you don't have an infection. So if you don't have an infection, there's something else going on in there, and that's when he sent me in to do the ultrasound and the X-ray. And the bad thing that I will say is, I mean, I think the hospital treated me great. The doctor was fantastic. When I had the bleed New Year's Day, he came in on New Year's Day and doctored me up, and basically, no doubt, he saved my life. Had he not come in, I would have bled to death. But uh, after they did the tests, the phone rings, or not the phone rings. The nurse comes up to me with the phone, and she's got the doctor. Excuse me. She's got the doctor on the phone, and he's trying to talk to me through this cell phone, and all I hear is cancer, 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 and I'm saying, oh, just going crazy. But I ended up handing it to Lek. Lek talked to him, and then we got everything straightened out. But it's a shocking thing, and that, guys, get yourself checked. You know, with bladder cancer, there are not a lot of indicators beforehand. One of the indicators is that you're up going to the bathroom quite often, and I had that, but I just kind of wrote that off to old age. I mean, um, I did, and if it wasn't for the blood, I probably would have still been walking around with that thing in me. But anyway, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm keeping a positive outlook on things, and I'm going to be here for a long time, and we're going to do whatever the doctor says. And like I said, after I have the PET scan done, then we'll know which route we're going to go. And I'd venture to say that I'm probably going to lose my bladder. And like I said, I don't care. It's one of those things that you do, and um, you just go on. I'll keep making videos and just doing what I do. But anyways, Spencer, you got to tell me about your trip to Texas.
Yeah, I'm still getting over the jet lag. We got in last night into Bangkok
Yeah,
about midnight, checked into the hotel, and man, I wouldn't have woke up this morning if the wife didn't wake me up.
that's funny.
But
Uh,
yeah, I'm still kind of beat down. That's a long ass flight, to be honest with you.
yeah, it's real long.
When you do layovers, it's like we went from
Excuse me.
Chiang Mai to Bangkok and spent the night, and then we caught American Airlines,
Hmm.
or actually we caught Japan Airlines into Japan, and then from Japan we took American Airlines into Dallas, and then we flew into Pensacola from there, Pensacola, Florida. Spent some time there, and then we rented a car and drove out to Texas. Came back to Alabama, then we stayed a couple more days, and then got that flight from Pensacola at 7:30 in the morning. Flew into Dallas, waited about 2 hours, then flew into Japan, and then flew into Bangkok. So I mean, it's about 20 hours total. When you consider layovers.
Yeah. Last time I did it, it was horrible. It took me about 42 hours to get back. I was worn out. Absolutely
Yeah,
worn out by the time I got back home, and
yeah.
nothing I want to do. Now, did you have any problem getting in? With the COVID situation or anything like that?
Nah,
After the
nah. Not I went last year. As you know, I go every year
right.
around the holidays. And we went last year during COVID, and it was actually quite odd because we were first Suvarnabhumi Airport in Bangkok was completely empty
Yeah.
last year, and then we got to Japan. It was a ghost town in Japan, and on the flight, heck, we were the only ones in premium economy section. But this year, it, it's totally different now because in Japan there's no COVID checks, there's no security checks anymore.
Hmm.
The airport's full, and then flying into Bangkok, no COVID check there either. And I
Wow.
mean, the airport's packed in Bangkok. I mean, packed.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
tourism is back for sure.
Hmm. I haven't been up to the city since, well, last week. I think I went up, so I don't really know what's going on up there. But I understand that the buses are starting to flow again, and the people are flowing in, and I'm gonna run up tomorrow probably in the morning and
Mm, mm.
look around a little bit. But
You
it
know,
is what it is.
yeah, it's funny because a few days before we left to come back to Thailand, as you know, the health minister changed the procedure where they wanted to see that you had insurance and they were going to check your COVID to make sure you had shots. And
Right.
then two days later, after I bought insurance, they rescinded that.
Yeah.
Nobody looked for my insurance. Nobody looked at my
Oh,
COVID shots or nothing. So don't even need it, to be honest with you.
that's unreal. Uh,
Yeah.
well, I think that they a lot of the times when they make those rules, they put the cart in front of the horse so many times, and they don't
Mm,
think.
mm,
And that's what they did. Not, there were people that were scurrying around because when they said 2 COVID shots,
mm.
there are a lot of people that had reservations that had no COVID shots
Right,
and
right.
no way to get it. So I don't know what they ended up doing. I
Yeah, I
think
don't
that
know.
Yeah, I think the government canceled it fast enough that I don't think anybody, really had to change their flights. I think when they thought about what they did, they said, well, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I think I
You know,
told you this. My honest take on it is the fact that China is allowing their people to travel now and go on
yeah,
vacations. And the most of the world that I know, they're actually checking the Chinese tourists coming over.
hmm
They're either checking to make sure they've had COVID shots or they're getting COVID tests done there at the airport. So
right.
I think what it was is Thailand wanted to be in that group, but then decided, well, we're going to check all foreigners coming in. Then they thought, oh, maybe that's not such a good idea.
hmm
We'll just go ahead and drop it all. So
It is what it is. We'll see what happens.
yeah,
We'll see what
yeah.
the outcome of it is. In a few months, and just go from there. I mean, I was watching a video today. A guy, he's in Hong Kong,
Mm,
and he travels all around. He was in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is basically deserted now.
mm,
The tourist places are all, pretty much disaster. He showed one park that they usually used to go to. He said it was always full when he was here before, and it's empty, completely empty.
mm,
And
mm,
so, they say that people are leaving Hong Kong as fast as they can.
mm. Well,
So,
I read something the other day about some province in China. I don't know if it's Hubei province or Hainan province. I don't remember which one, but they said like 90% of the people there are infected with COVID. And you're talking about
yeah,
a province, you that's millions of people.
yeah, yeah,
So it's hard to say. Hard to
yeah.
say.
It's hard to say what's going to happen. Hopefully, it will not get real bad like it did before. I mean, I would hate to
Yeah,
see it happen.
I
But
know.
if it does, the hospitals will start filling up, and things will get crazy again. But I doubt very seriously that Thailand will ever close its doors again like it did before.
I don't think
I
so
don't. I
either.
don't. No, I don't. I
They
don't think
couldn't. They
that'll.
couldn't take it. They couldn't take it.
Mm-mm. No, no. So it is what it is. The thing that
Mm,
I try to do is try to protect myself as much as I can. I'm not ashamed to wear a mask around people, and if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't help, well, at least I'm not breathing in that crappy air that's floating in my face. But
yeah,
that's about all we can do.
yeah. It was kind of a change, because before we left, obviously masks aren't required in Thailand, but they ask you to wear them anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
But in the USA, I mean, nobody wears a mask in the USA. I think I saw maybe 5 people on my whole trip that were wearing a mask.
yeah. What
And
about on
then
the plane?
Japan,
On the plane, did you have to?
only Japan Airlines.
Oh,
When we flew
interesting.
American Airlines, they don't require a mask because it's a US carrier.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
no, it was totally different. And then we get here to Thailand, and again, it's optional here in Thailand. And I would say probably from what I saw, 50% had mask on, 50% didn't. Normally, it was the Thais that had the masks on, and the
hmm.
foreigners didn't wear a mask.
Yeah, yeah,
From what I saw, so
yeah. Well, that's pretty much what you see here. Uh, if I go to the market and stuff, I would wear a mask because they're all wearing them, and I'm going to wear it,
mm,
and I'm going to respect that. And but you see a lot of foreigners that just don't want to wear a mask, and whatever. The thing
mhm.
thing the thing that I think about more is we here in Chiang Mai are more prone to wearing masks anyway because of the bad quality of the air, and
Mhm.
it's not that much of an inconvenience for us to do that. So you
Yeah,
know,
last year we didn't have any smog, obviously, because of COVID. No farmers were out burning fields. This year, I mean, I just got back, so I don't know how the weather is. But
Mm,
as you and I know, through the many years that we've been here, sometimes the smog can get so bad it's like fog out there, and you can't
yeah,
see your hand in front of your face.
it's
So
true. It's
obviously,
very
you want to
true.
wear a mask.
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully, hopefully this year, I'm hoping that it's not going to get that way. I mean, I've been watching it the last couple of days, and it's getting a little bit worse, but nothing compared to, like, what it was years ago when when you had to close your windows and uh,
Mhm.
do all that. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And I noticed the fields around here, they've 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 cut their rice, and they're coming in now, and instead of burning it, they're planting corn,
Mm.
which is something I've not seen that done before. They haven't burned any here. Usually the fields right on the other side of the house have already been burned by now, but this year they haven't done it. And Leck and I were driving through the rice fields yesterday. She goes, "That's corn they're growing," and that's what they're doing. They're putting rows of corn in. So maybe that's you know uh,
Well, that would be more viable to them. They would make more money that way.
I would think so. There's only so much rice you could sell, but
Yeah, yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what happens. And another thing that I've noticed here locally is a lot of these rice fields now are being filled in.
Hmm.
And they're building on them. There's
Hmm.
there, there's there's a temple not far from here where I used to go fly my drone. I'd go fly my drone there, and there were no houses there. It was all rice fields. And I went by the other day and just kind of, just kind of sat down and looked, and I counted 5 houses that had built, on the rice field, and it's just kind of
Hmm.
pushing that way. So, the farmland's going. We'll see what happens, but it is what it is, and hopefully, if they don't burn, we should be in pretty good shape.
I know a lot of people always trip out about PM 2.5, and they've got these sensors in their house, all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff, and they wear them on their shirts, to say,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
look at it, PM 2.5.
yeah,
What I go by is just what does it look like outside?
yeah,
I've got 4 air purifiers in my house, and if they start going into the red, then obviously I know something's wrong. But
yeah.
right now they're all running low.
Yeah, no, I've got mine right over here, and matter of fact, I don't even think mine's not even on right now. So, it's not too bad. Meant to say I was vaccinated 2 times. Yeah. I haven't had them on yet. Uh,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
I have to wait and
We
see.
always run ours just to have the clean air in the house
Hmm.
to recycle it. But that's the thing, the gentleman's talking about having 2 vaccines. I think that's kind of like the threshold that they're looking for is to have two vaccines. I don't know. Did Thailand say that they're allowing people in that are unvaccinated now?
Yeah, yeah, they're letting everybody in now, as far as I
Oh, are
know.
they? Are they?
Yeah, I
Mm.
think it's they're just letting them all in now. I think I read something between China and India, and I don't remember exactly what I read, but I think they're either, if you're going to China or you're coming from China or you're coming from India, then you have to take some kind of test. I don't know. They flip flop so bad so many times on it and changed so many things. I can't keep up with it. But as far
Mhm.
as the majority of the people can just walk right in, just like they used to. So
See, I don't
we'll
know
wait.
what immigration does because when you come into Swanepoel, you've got the foreigner lines to the left, and it was full, and there was a lot of Chinese in there, in that mixed in with that group. But obviously, because I'm married to a Thai, I go to the Thai channel with
Yeah.
the Thai lanes, and I'm in and out. So I don't know
Mhm.
if they were checking COVID vaccination cards on the Chinese or not. I
Mm.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Haven't had anything come up about it. Have you heard about an awareness project called Beat the Haze? No, I haven't. I haven't heard about it, but
Mm-mm.
it doesn't surprise me that they haven't had one. I think this new governor is a little bit proactive in
Mm-hmm.
the as
Mm-hmm.
far as the smog is concerned. I think he's going to do a whole lot better than the previous one. So, they may have started something. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw something that the governor met with the whoever the new consulate general is up here in that we have that woman. I think she met with him or something about it. So I really don't know what they're doing, but they're definitely doing a lot more than they did years ago. So
Yeah, he really seems proactive. Really
yeah,
does.
he's out walking the streets sometimes,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
with people checking on stuff. So
And
I
then
hope,
what was it, last year or 2 years ago? Maybe before COVID. They had the fire trucks out spraying
yeah,
water into the air, trying to get rid of the smog or
yeah,
whatever. That's
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of a waste of water there. But he
yeah.
seems like he's really on top of it, and I think he'll make some significant changes around here.
I hope so. Well, the thing about it is, the only thing that's going to stop it is stop the burning.
Hmm.
That's the only thing. Is the fire trucks are not going to do anything. They had. I rode up there one day on my bicycle, and they had this concoction. I've got a picture of me sitting on a little motorcycle trying to pull this
Hmm.
thing, but it was some kind of a thing that was going to suck the air out and clean it.
Ah,
It was just ridiculous.
yeah, yeah.
And it's not going to do it. They have those water cannons that they'll shoot up across the gate and stuff. And
I mean, that might work within, say, 5 or 10 feet, but that's about all it's going to
that's
do.
it. Yeah, it doesn't clear up the city. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But
We'll just,
they were proactive. They were proactive about those mushrooms, those
yeah,
button mushrooms they call them or whatever.
yeah. I don't know what. Yeah, something like that.
They were proactive about that because they burn the forests to get to those mushrooms.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of stores like Rimping have actually stopped buying those mushrooms, which obviously makes those people not burn the fields if they're not selling them.
yeah,
But it's the farmers, and if you say that, well, now they're planting corn as an alternative crop after the rice, that'd be great.
yeah. Well, yeah. And Leck and I have seen them in out there picking stuff too. So I don't know if they're picking the mushroom. Leck thought they were picking mushrooms out of the rice fields. I don't know, but the ones that they burn the mountains for, those are a special kind of mushroom. I forget what they call them, and they're very expensive. I
Hmm.
forgot.
Hmm.
They're a little bit different than what we see down here on the ground. But and what happens is they'll try to burn just a little area, and then it gets away from them, and the next thing you know, the whole damn mountain's on fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes we can. Hey, Denise, how you doing? Uh, Sometimes we can look out in the mountains, you just see the fire and the smoke. Now, I had a friend that lived in Mayrim, and he lived right at the Hedge Hob or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, there you go, Hedge Hob, Hedge Hob. Yeah, but he lived right at the base of the mountains in Mayrim, and the fires would get so bad it was burning the water lines to their houses and stuff.
Hmm.
Really had a hard time. Magic mushrooms, yeah.
No,
I
they're
don't
not
think it's the
magic.
magic ones. They don't have to burn the forest to get those.
Mm-mm.
Uh, but
Those mushrooms, those head top mushrooms that my wife was talking about, they are very popular in China. So a lot of those are exports they're actually going over to China. They're not even consumed here.
yeah, well, that's how it is. But they've got
We'll
to get
see.
them out. They've got to get them out of the country somehow. If
Hmm.
they ban the export of them, that might slow it down some, but who knows?
I don't think they'll go that far, but I don't know. Maybe.
Uh, we'll see what happens. I'm surely not going to buy any of them. That's for sure.
I've never bought them
No,
the whole time I've been here.
I don't even know what they look like.
I don't either.
It's crazy. So
Yeah.
what was the big shocker for you when you got back over to the States?
Oh man, the prices outrageous.
Really?
I was my wife and I were talking, and it's a carton of eggs in the States. We saw somewhere between $5 and $7 for a carton of eggs.
Good Lord, you're kidding me.
Yeah. And milk was expensive. I mean, everything's over there is expensive to begin with, but I mean, it was a lot of items have really tripled in price almost. I think it's something to do with, well, there's obviously a shortage, and then there's the inflation part going on. I own a house over there in the States, and it's actually gone down in price because of the inflation.
Wow. Hmm.
So the prices over there are just brutal.
Hmm.
And,
What?
for somebody over there, it's making 80, 90, $100,000. Maybe it won't affect them that much. But people that are making, 50 or $40,000 a year, those prices, when you're paying $7 for a carton of eggs, and you got kids or whatever that eat eggs, you're going through a
Yeah.
lot of eggs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and
and
that everything, just about everything is is made derived from eggs. You get your uh, bread and all that stuff. How many eggs in a carton in the U.S.? I think it's 12, isn't it?
12, a dozen,
Yeah.
12, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A dozen eggs.
And,
Unreal.
and before I even came to Thailand, I mean, they were only a couple bucks for a
Yeah.
carton of eggs. So they've gone up significantly in the last year.
Gosh. What about
So
steak? Did you get a steak while you were there?
states,
Yeah.
yeah,
Steak.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, we ate it. We didn't actually buy steaks to cook, but we ate it Texas Roadhouse and Longhorn Steakhouse and places like that. And the steaks over there roughly about $20 to $25 for a steak.
Yeah. Well, that's not too bad, really.
Not too bad. But
It's-
places like Texas, I mean, that's a beef production state, so the meat is always going to be there in Texas.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
in those chain restaurants, they get it from wherever. But I did see some of the prices in the store on beef, and it had gone up too. Everything's gone up. Everything has gone up. I mean, we went
yeah.
to how you like Publix grocery store, and they have Publix over there, and heck, we walked out of the store with two shopping bags, two plastic bags, $70.
Mm,
So
wow.
it's rough.
Says, I'm fine, Bill. 11:30 at night. Oh, you're in Brisbane, and I'm usually asleep. You missed the chat. Well, you got me this time. Huh. When are you coming back over, Denise? I think last time you were here, you said you were coming back, but you didn't say when. But, yeah, it's we get so used to paying certain prices here when we go back home. I mean, I haven't been back since 2014, and I remember when I went back, it was just total shock for me how much things had changed. And
Mm-hmm.
things that I used to pay 75 cents for were now $1.50. And uh, it just you try to fathom how you can live on what you're making back in the United States. I don't
Right.
I don't see how you could do it.
My
It's
wife said
really.
from the first day we got there, I was already complaining about coming back. And
Yeah.
I was ready. I mean, I like going over there and seeing the relatives and doing the holidays and watching football and stuff. But man, I'm so ready to get back here
Yeah.
after a few days because I mean, it's just the sense of freedom and the cost of living and everything here is so much better and so much easier.
Yeah. Well, and I try to and I think you and I know this, but life for us here is so much more simple
Mm-hmm.
than it is over there. There's not so much drama and things like that. And I mean, you're going to have a little bit of it, and but nothing compared to what you'd have over there, and the issues that you face there. So you
Well, it's
know,
just like your medical thing you were talking about earlier. Over in the States, if you needed surgery, you would be put on a list. It might be a month before you get in there to have your surgery done. I mean,
yeah,
here you can walk in and schedule an appointment almost immediately to get something.
yeah, yeah.
So that's
Like I was fortunate. I
mm,
within I think we found it on Saturday, and I was getting operated on the following Wednesday. So I
mm,
mean, it was just boom, 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 and so that is true. You don't have to. I didn't have any problem getting in to see a doctor once I found where I wanted to go, and uh, I'm comfortable with the care I'm getting here. I mean, I just it's
mhm.
it's a little different than what you're used to in the States, but the bottom line is, you're getting decent care, and you're paying a fraction of the price. You
Right.
know, so I can't complain.
That was
Um,
probably the biggest question from my relatives was, how was the health care over in
mhm.
Thailand? And I can only speak great about it. I mean, I've never
Yeah.
had an issue of anything over here. It's like I'm treated well when I go to the
Hmm.
hospital, and I don't have to wait around.
Yeah. Well, my my days in the hospital. I mean, I've been in the hospital in the U.S. before. It was a good many years ago, but I visited people, and the care that I got up at Serapat was superior. I mean, they're in there all the time, and oh, okay, you're coming in July, good. They're coming in checking on you all the time, and
Hmm.
uh, you know, clean, nice room. I was really pleased.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and Bangkok Hospital was the same way. I was really pleased with
Sure.
Bangkok Hospital. You know, uh, you pay a little bit more than the government hospitals, but you get some decent care. And the thing that with Serapat is you're basically in a government hospital, but there's a different side to it that you're using. When they
Right.
wheeled me down to do the surgery on me, I was actually in Suandoc Hospital, and you know, but it is what it is. We're used to waiting lists in the UK as healthcare is free, but why are there waiting lists in the US?
I can
I
answer
don't.
that one.
Okay, answer it.
Well, I used to live in the UK, so I know about the national healthcare system over there, and it is free, so to speak. And they do wait a long time to have an appointment in England to get something done. But in the USA, it's more of a, I guess it's red tape is what you would call it. I mean, there's a process to it. Like my father, he has cancer, and just to get into the hospital, I mean, there's so much paperwork, and there has to be appointments set up. He has to go through tests and all this stuff. They have to confirm it with his insurance company. It's just a long process of red tape in the U.S. It's not like
Hmm.
they couldn't get you in and do it really fast, which they could. They just don't because of all the nanny state red tape stuff they got.
It's crazy, absolutely
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, and
Yeah.
over here, I mean, there's obviously you got to fill out paperwork when you're here, but I mean, the process is so smooth and so easy. You just get it done.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait around for anything. You don't have, it's like your insurance. Like I have insurance. I think you have insurance here. It's like with mine. I mean, I just go in there, I get treated, and then after I get done, they do my insurance right there, and I'm out within 15
Hmm.
minutes.
Yeah.
Try doing that in the
Yeah.
States. I mean, you got 14 pages of forms to fill out.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have any problem with the insurance company this year. This time it
Mm.
was. Uh, I was really really happy with them. Says, but if you're really really sick, they take you in right away. I've witnessed that. Yeah, it's on its knees in the UK crisis situation. You're talking about
I
the
read, yeah.
medical situation. Yeah.
Well, there's actually a nurses' strike going on in New York, and they were freaking out. They had patients that weren't getting treated, so they finally a lot of hospitals in New York had to cave and give in to the nurses what they wanted. What they wanted was is better equipment and better emergency rooms.
Hmm. I'm looking at Richard. I'm looking at your picture, and that is the guy drum set that used to sing at Tape Gate, and I have not
Yeah, it looks
seen
like
him
Tape
there.
Gate.
I have not seen him there in a long time. I
And that's the
ran
dude
ran
that does the buckets, right?
Yeah, the buckets, and he plays the
Yeah.
guitar too. He sings Country Road, and
Mm.
I haven't seen him there in a long time. Uh, so I don't know where he's at, but he used to be there. I mean, he'd be there every day,
Mm.
beating on the stuff,
Yeah, I
singing
remember
the
seeing him
same
too.
song. And there was another guy that used to give free hugs. I haven't seen him. He rode a three wheel bicycle, and he carried this big sign, "Free hugs." And the guy, I guess he was all right, but his hair was all kind of, sticking every kind of way. But I haven't seen him around, and I'm trying to think. There was a couple more that used to be up there that you'd see. Um, but a lot of them, I guess, a lot of them have either gone home or, that the one guy that played the drums, he was tied, so I don't think he went anywhere. But
The guy that gave the free hugs, probably, I mean, with COVID, it's probably the reason he ain't doing it no more.
yeah, well, I don't blame. Yeah, more well, but you'd always see him up there on his three-wheel bicycle because I think he kind of used that as a wheelchair. I watched him drive. He drove that thing in a 7-Eleven one day, and the ladies behind the counter were having a fit, and they said he told me, he said, "This is my wheelchair. I can come in and whatever." But I haven't seen him around in quite a long time. But they'll show up. But the pigeon crowds are still up there. They've got now during New Year's they did something to get rid of the pigeons because there weren't that many pigeons, but there were some down at the end. But around the Tape Gate sign where they usually have, they'll have 4 or 5 different people set up there with cameras and throwing the stuff and the things to beat them, but they had moved them all down. And but there was one set, and I found that there's a loft. Those pigeons, there's a loft about 3 or 4 blocks inside the city where those pigeons go to at night, and there's a loft they feed them, and then they shoo them out. Look who here! Look who we got here! The travel. Are you on the train?
I am, and as you can see, the sun hasn't come up yet. I'm somewhere.
Okay.
I'm somewhere in Nevada.
Nevada.
And the
Wow.
and the signal may go away too. So
Okay. Well, how's your trip so far?
it's okay. I mean, I got everything done that I wanted to do on this trip, and
Yeah.
it was fun. But I got to tell you, you watched that Zeb Brooks video I sent you, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
He made it look really, really good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was ready to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an anti-Jeb Brooks kind of video. There's a load of problems with this. I mean, Amtrak is old, I guess,
Yeah.
to sum it up. It's old and teetering on the edge of falling apart. There were a lot of problems. Now the staff is lovely; they do their best to make your trip nice, and there were some good aspects too. But I'm making a video about the whole trip from Bangkok to New York, Chicago, LA, and then Manila. And I'm not saying too much about the trip in that video because I want to do a video just about the Amtrak trip. And I am going to refute Jeb Brook, who I will be very nice to. He's very good at making videos, and I like him. He seems like a pretty cool guy. But he loves trains, and I think his love of trains biased his reporting.
When are you coming back, Charlie?
Well, I'm flying to Manila on Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know how long I'm going to stay in Manila. I have some friends there that I want to visit. I want to go to Dumaguete and see if I could bump into all of those popular YouTubers that are making that have YouTube channels out of Dumaguete, and I might write an article on them. I do some writing as well, and if I'm having a good time, I can stay as much as a month. But the Philippines can be a sketchy place, and if I'm not having a good time, I'll come home sooner. So I don't know for sure. Somewhere between, a week and a month.
All right, that sounds good.
Now,
have you passed the Rockies and all that?
Yes, which is gorgeous. I mean, most people that take this trip, many of them board in Denver, because you come in across the plains into Denver, and then they put on another engine, and up you go into the Rockies, and it's stunning. It's just stunning. It's such a beautiful trip. But the observation car gets filled up, and when you get up into the Rockies, they, at the first stop, they ask everybody to leave, so a second crew, a second round of customers could come in and enjoy it. And I'm like, you can't put on another observation car? Nearly everybody on this train has come for this purpose, and it's not cheap. You can't put 2 observation cars on and wash the goddamn windows. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, so I have a load of complaints like that. They just, it's, you ever hear of the state-owned enterprise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, economists always complain about how places like China and Vietnam have state-owned enterprises and how
Right.
inefficient they are. Well, Amtrak is a state-owned enterprise, and the only reason it's still in existence is because the government pumps money into it,
Right.
and
Right.
they don't have a whole lot of incentive to be efficient. It's just, and the equipment is really, really old. Now they've done their best. This is the room that I'm in, and it's a big room. This is meant for a family. They said they could have 2 adults and 4 kids in here, and I got it for less than one of the smaller rooms, and it's okay. They do their best to keep it clean. I mean, like I said, the crew is good, and they're nice people and they work hard. They do their best, but they're dealing with with old stuff, and and this upholstery, for instance, is, if you can't see it in this bad light, but if you look up close, it's seen better days. Now it's whole, it's not tattered, but it is kind of grimy looking. It's not attractive, right? I brought a little Lysol thing and I'm spraying up the room with Lysol.
Right.
That's funny.
And I have a gout outbreak. I have gout in my ankle, and that's hurting a lot because the food sucks. Wow.
Yeah, you can't really pick your food, huh?
Well, they have what they call healthy options, vegan and vegetarian options. And I stuck mostly with them. I did have a steak, but I don't think the steak is what triggered the gout. I think what triggered are the sugary sauces they put on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pre-prepared food, partially cooked before being loaded on the train, and then they just heat it up and present it. And they do a nice job of presenting it. It looks good, and it's okay. I mean, it's edible. I'd say it's. I think the food you get at Applebee's is better.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's like not great. It's like an old diner back in New York, the kind of food you might get there. And but I think it was all the sauces that triggered my gout. And now I'm limping around like an old fool. I'll feel it.
Oh,
How many people are actually on this train?
At one point,
How many cars are there?
I'm trying to count. We have 2 coach cars, which I went and looked at the coach cars. The coach cars are kind of nice. They were newer. And of course, you wouldn't want to sleep in them, but they had big, comfy seats. If somebody wanted to take this trip into the Rockies, that's what I would recommend. Fly into Denver and take this trip up to the first stop in the Rockies, and then take the train back down again on a day trip, and go on coach. It's a third the price. You have access to the to the observation car from coach class, and it's just far less money, and they were in better shape. Those cars, they were newer. The sleeper cars. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 sleeper cars, and I guess there's 20 people in each, at least. I'll count them. I'll send you an email.
yeah.
So you're saying about 150 people total on the train?
At least that. My guesstimate is closer to 300.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to do a head count. I'll let you know.
All right.
I'm going to do a little sponsor today. I had a guy come over from the States, CW. He's bought a house not far from me, and I met with him. He brought me a log cabin. Yeah, how long's it been since I seen that? And stick of pepperoni. Now the pepperoni, Leck has confiscated it, and I can't get any of that until I get all clear and all that stuff. But I just it was unexpected, and it was really thoughtful of him. The guy, brought that for me, and I really appreciate it.
That's nice.
We had a nice long talk, and he bought a house just. I mean, I can almost throw a stone and hit his house from here, and nice place, and going to be happy here and retire. He's from California, and he's married to a Thai woman, and he'll be retiring here in April and coming over full time, which is pretty good. So kind of interesting. We were able to help somebody out, and it's funny. I did a video walking before he got here. I did a video walking around his neighborhood, and careful with your reviewer; they might kick you off the train. Yeah, they could kick him off the train. But anyway, CW, thank you very much appreciated. I'll get some good use out of that. And when I get the all clear, I'll eat that pepperoni for sure. It'll go good on the pizza. But so how many more hours you got on the train, Charlie?
Let's see, it's 6 o'clock now, 6 a.m. Well, I think I'm still in Mountain Time, so that would be 5 o'clock in Pacific, and I get off so about 10 hours.
Yeah, you sound like are you catching a cold?
Yeah, I just woke up.
Oh, okay. Rough life, huh?
Well, it's also very dry. You're going through the snowy, cold mountains, and I have the heat on in here, and it tends to dry you out as well. So, I'm feeling pretty good, except for my gouty ankle, but that'll get better.
I just flew over the Rockies. Maybe I flew over your train.
Yeah, you just came in. That's amazing. Now, how long? Go ahead.
I met some interesting people on the train, and one of them was a mathematician from UC Berkeley, a guy named Ethan. And we had a pleasant conversation, and he does this trip frequently. He just likes it. He's pointing stuff out, like the Hertzvelk and that kind of thing. It is quite beautiful. And he said that he was 6 hours delayed once, that a 20-ton boulder fell on the track.
Wow.
You do go through these valleys and tunnels. You have to go through at least 50 small tunnels. It's quite a feat of engineering. They built it like 200 years ago, and it's it is interesting. But they have wires across the track now that if a boulder comes down, it trips the wire and lets the train know. Hey, it's rocking the track. And they got 20-ton boulder off the track in 6 hours. That in and of itself.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but meanwhile, I can't toilets on this car.
That's funny.
The toilet's broken. I have to get up and go to the next car to use the toilet, which, for a guy who's limping is a pain.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Well, you got some comments to make to him, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the good parts too. I'm going to do an honest review. I'm actually, after I get off with you, I'm going to take some notes. I'd like to do it somewhere once the sun comes up. Stop for a few minutes. I want to do it while I'm still on the trip, and I'm going to put it on Twitter, and I'm going to put it on all my platforms. But I'm going to put it on Twitter, and I'm going to tag Amtrak and see if they do say anything.
Yeah, for sure. Huh.
Because what I'm going to say is all the truth. We left 50 minutes late because of a mechanical problem. The toilets haven't worked since Denver. The food was mediocre, and it triggered my gout. Stuff like that. I have a bunch of points that I want to make. I'll also point out that that they can wash the car in the. My biggest complaint is not having two observation cars. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
How hard could that be? You're a railroad. You should have a sitting around somewhere, and and wash the damn windows. This is.
That's funny. That's funny. Now, how long are you going to stay in California before you go to Manila?
Just 2 days. I take the Iron Horse here into San Francisco. Spend overnight there. I'm having dinner with Tom and Susan, that couple that we met.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He's messaged me. Yeah.
Then I'm flying to LA, and I'm meeting another couple who's viewers, and I'm having brunch with them, and that's on Sunday. And on Sunday evening, I fly to Manila. I think. I got to look at my calendar, but I'm just staying like one night in each place, and then off to Manila.
Now,
Well, enjoy your trip to Manila.
I'm sorry.
I said, enjoy your trip to Manila. Maybe you won't. Maybe the gap will be over with by then.
I suspect it will. I've been through this a few times. I'll just eat vegetarian until it goes away, and it usually takes 2 or 3 days to disappear.
Now, did you gonna have any problems getting into Manila?
I'm going to double check, but they want vaccination certificates and a booster, which I have. And other than that, I don't think it's a problem. I will double check before I get on the plane. And the people I'm flying Philippine Air. No, I'm not either. I'm flying Korean Airline. But they'll they'll have all the rules ready when I show up at the counter. And I'm not staying in Manila. I'm going to fly to Dumaguete the next morning as well. I land in Manila late at night, and so I'll just probably hang in the airport and get the first plane to Dumaguete, where I'll rest for at least a week. Just kind of kick back and relax and have coffee with the YouTube guys. Interview with Mark Thornton, stuff like that.
Seems fun.
That should be interesting. But, you might like it over there and stay.
Well, I lived in the Philippines for I guess about 2 months. A few years back, a long time ago, and I had a girlfriend on this island of Negros, and I have friends there. So I'm going to visit them. There's a couple that I know from Singapore. This guy Steve, who's a retired insurance guy, and he's married to a skinny Filipina girl that would rival Daddy Paul's squeeze, and so I'm going to visit them, and maybe make a video with them. I think I'll enjoy myself.
Yeah, well, it'll be good to see the difference between how Thailand is and in the Philippines. I watch some of those guys, and they're describing their lifestyle over there, and it's really not that much different from lifestyle we have here. I think we might have a little bit better than they do, but
I think the kind of expat. Now, this is a little bit of a bold statement. I hope I don't insult anybody, but I think the kind of expat that settles, certainly in Bangkok and you up in Chiang Mai, and have a little bit more in the way of resources. They're a little bit more solid middle class. The homes and wives and cars, and that kind of thing. And I think that's more normal in Thailand. Whereas I get the sense, especially in Dumaguete, you have some sketchy people that are just hanging on, with minimum Social Security and not very much money. Right. It's I liken them to the movie The Big Lebowski. Yeah, I liken them to the dude. They're kind of like they're the dude.
That's funny.
Which is fine. Again, I don't want to be insulting. I'm fortunate to be in the position that I'm in, and I don't want to sound like a snob. These are nice people, and I'm doing the best that they can. But I think the people that I know in Thailand, the expats I know in Thailand, tend to have set themselves up a little bit better with more resources.
No, I agree.
Planned a little bit better for the future. Yeah. I don't know. It amazes me the lengths that people will go with such little preparation. And that's when they get into trouble.
Well, some of them get stuck there, with no money and no way to get back, and they're foreigners. It's really a miserable state to be in. If Old Dog New Tricks did a series of videos on that one guy who went over there, married a woman, had twins with her, and he was flat broke. The twins was sick. He couldn't support them. He had no money. He was living in the street. And Paul, to his credit, went out and babysat the guy, raised some money for him, got his kids treated at a hospital, got him treated. He had some health issues as well, and got enough money to send him back to California. Whereas last time I heard, he's got a job and he's doing better. So that guy was fortunate enough to encounter some people who were with a big heart that were willing to help them. I've seen people there, who get stuck there and are living in the street.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen here in Thailand. If they saw a foreigner stuck in the streets, they remove him and get him out of the country.
Yeah.
But in the Philippines, and I've been to the Philippines myself. I've seen hard luck guys like that too, that Charlie's talking about, and you kind of wonder, like, what are they surviving on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and I mean, even the ones that I do know pretty well, Mark Thornton and Paul from Old Dog New Tricks, they talk about their experience there. Now, they did well with YouTube, and it turned their lives around. They're both doing pretty well, and good for them. But when they got there, they were, Paul retired at 62 on minimum Social Security, put a few bucks together and, and just took a chance and, wound up in Dumageddon. And, now he had enough to survive. I think his income is around $1,800 a month. But damn, that's
pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, even in the Philippines, that's a pretty poor amount of money to live on. You're not gonna have a lot. You're not gonna have a lot of fun. Maybe you could feed yourself, but that's about it. Now again, he got really lucky with the YouTube thing. He has a bang up channel and he's making some money with it. So good for him. Same thing with Mark. Mark was nearly broke. He talks about how he was smart enough to set up a teaching gig for himself online, and he spent what little resources he had on a new computer. Flew to Manila, dropped the computer, and it broke. So the only way he had to make money just broke on the floor. He figured out how to fix it, but he was that close to being destitute. And he was nearly out of money. He had a few bucks, to get by until he got his first paycheck from the teaching gig. And well, sure enough, he fixed the computer, got going, and slowly he turned himself around, made some money teaching English to Chinese kids and online. And then he had luck with the channel. I think he has close to 50,000 subscribers. So he's doing good too. And it's nice to see those success stories, but they're the exception. And that's what I want to take a look at when I go there. I want to, because YouTube has had a huge impact on that city. It's had a big influence with these big successful channels. There's at least 3 or 4 of them, and you have a lot of the local girls trying to cash in on it. Putting on their bikinis and wiggling their asses and trying to make a few bucks on YouTube. And I'd like to go talk to a couple of them and see what kind of story I could pull out of it. The dude of Dumageddon.
That's funny. Well, guys, it's we've been on for an hour now, and I'm gonna go check and see what my wife's doing. And Charlie, you're probably gonna go eat some breakfast, aren't you?
Well, I'm gonna have him deliver the breakfast. I think
you're first class now.
He's handicapped.
Oh, that's that's funny.
Yeah, I think I got another hour before that opens at 6 o'clock here.
Well, listen, I appreciate everybody checking in on us, and we'll probably do this next week, and we'll just see how things go. But Spencer, I'll talk to you a little later on.